My role at Snowflake is to be the voice of the customer across the global public sector. And my responsibility is to be the voice of those folks, be the voice of those people and citizens into Snowflake. If you think about the scale that public sector has, I don't think there's an organization across the globe that has a broader scale. They serve every citizen across the globe. And the way that these leaders are thinking about it is they're seeking performance at scale, but they're also seeking solutions that are cost-effective and easy as they scale across their organizations, across the government, especially in this multi-cloud, multi-infrastructure, and multi-vendor environment that we're in. The balance between security and data sharing in particular is things that leaders are dealing with every single day. So before, what I routinely saw is a apprehension to share data. It was very onerous. It was a costly process. However, now what we now understand is that data sharing has to occur for mission critical processes to serve the citizens. And again, what we saw in terms of data analytics, data sharing to respond to the COVID epidemic globally brought that really to bear. We're seeing a sea change across the government. We're seeing a sea change in terms of those who serve the public sector. And what we find at Snowflake in particular is that organizations that share never ever go back to the way things were. However, that data sharing has to be in a manner that is one, automated, but two, secure. It also needs to be in a method that ensures things like citizen privacy. And it needs to ensure that the data, when it's being shared, is being used for the right purpose, for the right time, for the right reason. We believe that you can't have an AI strategy without a data strategy. There's not a data strategy that I've found across the globe that doesn't include data security as a key proponent of how they're doing their everyday mission and delivering services to their citizens. And the way that they're looking at risk is not just from an IT perspective or a data security perspective, it's for the entire mission set. And what I'm finding and what these customers are telling me is that post-COVID, it's no longer just securing the data, but it's also delivering the services to the citizenry, to the ecosystem, and for the mission. In terms of the way they're viewing risk is growing. Data is now viewed as an asset in many countries, in many organizations. And when assets are determined, that's where intrusions occur. So now that data is becoming more and more valuable, especially for things like artificial intelligence, advanced analytics for business systems, for economies, for creating jobs, having solutions that can, one, allow for that velocity of data sharing to occur while also securing is critically important. Immuta is a key capability that not only works with the government customer to achieve their goals in terms of delivering services for their citizens, for their users, but it does so in addressing those key tenets within the data strategies of these agencies. Much of the gains that are going to be made by AI and the data that fuels that is going to be based off of the scale that government organizations have through their mission, but it includes things like automating processes such as data tagging. You cannot bring these solutions to the forefront without having, again, a data strategy and security. And then looking forward into what the US government's asking for agencies to do, what we see as a mandate to all federal agencies is to create the infrastructure, create the capabilities that allow these government agencies, these leaders to deploy AI solutions, ensure data sharing, ensure that these models are not only cataloged, but then shared across the government, building on that regulatory framework we saw a few years ago. Snowflake and Immuta together help these agencies fulfill the requirements that OMB and the White House set out for a common infrastructure to deploy these AI models safely, ethically. Technologies like Snowflake and Immuta and several others together are working to help the government deliver this. When I speak to public sector leaders, what's key in front of mind is how to automate some of the processes that are required around data security in particular. Immuta is doing a great job of helping government sector leaders fulfill this need. I see the requirement for automation in a performant way, in a cost-effective way, only increasing in the coming years. Another area to where I see Immuta and Snowflake together serving the customer where they're at is in the regulated workspaces. Just this past year, we achieved FedRAMP High. We've been working on several other accreditations across the globe. And these accreditations, these compliance benchmarks are how Snowflake, Immuta, and those other partners fulfill the needs of the customers, especially against these regulated workloads.